Hey everybody, welcome to the Fired Up with CJ show. We are in part two talking to Jeff Schmitt and Cynthia Bergh about the Tobacco Freedom Project. You can find more at tobaccofreedom.net. So in the previous segment, Jeff was sharing his scientific discovery in which he has these 24 patents, and it was all around the kind of mystery about tobacco actually being a plant medicine and it actually helping with neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, which kind of came to a surprise, and for me at least, and how we were talking about plant medicine and how plants have so much to offer us, but that we actually have to learn how to relate to those plants in a harmonistic, respectful way, versus, let's say, the shamans would offer little bits of tobacco to the spirits and use them in their rituals where we're like puffing and smoking packs full of cigarettes, which I assume is not in the honoring of the respectful way. Or so tell me a little bit. You said that. What does it look like when we have a healthy relationship to some of these plant medicines?
I think for every person that the answer to that question is different. One of the things that we can't detach from the path of the Vegetalista, the person who develops and works in these ways, is it's a path of the mystic. Your relationship with particular plants that call you at a spiritual level is going to be completely unique to who you are, to your life story, to your family, to your lineage. And the role is that of the mystic is to connect so deeply and so authentically that you really live in a place of service and a place of right relations. And I think one of the things that excites Cynthia and I most about this program is that it's so rooted in the exploration and illumination of what relationship is all about.
Mhm.
In the last segment, we've kind of talked about the division that we have between ourselves and nature right now, and it's there around us all the time for us to learn. And it's a metaphor and a sort of a playground, if you will, in terms of thinking about how do we rewire our relationships. Right now, specifically with tobacco, tobacco is anathema. Most people think it's this toxic, awful, evil plant that gives people cancer. But since time immemorial, the story is actually quite different. And how often, in terms of relationship, do we create those divides? Do we create those us versus them, evil versus good? It's never that simple. And part of what we're doing in the um, uh, Tobacco Freedom Program is to help people not only understand that in relationship to tobacco, but in relationship to their lives in general.
Mm. So,
Yeah,
so if you want to develop, I'm just trying to get some clarity. So you said some people use it for stress release, some people use it for clarity, some people use it for pleasure, and a whole bunch of other positive boosts, as you describe them on your website. So that's how I'm relating to the plant. That is my intention, what I'm getting out of the plant. So. I guess the first step is being aware of what that benefit that plant offers you. Once I do that, then what do I do?
well, I think just take a step back on that. I think what a lot of people don't realize is they're not really consciously thinking about that.
Hmm.
So I think one of the gifts that we would like to offer people is a larger perspective of tobacco, just to understand. If you think about our intention and how important that is in the answer, the questions that you ask, the quality of those questions create the quality of the answers that you can receive back. And people are unconsciously smoking. They're just kind of
Hmm.
smoking. You don't really know why they're smoking. They don't know what it is that the tobacco is really giving them. They just know that they want to smoke. And so when you asked about, like a sacred relationship, what is, how do we approach a relationship differently? That is, with respect, so instead of just using tobacco because it feels good, or I know I want to smoke right now, and I always smoke after I eat, or I smoke socially when I get together with friends because it's great. there's, kind of more subconscious motivations about what's going on. And if you don't know your intention, that tobacco would still amplify that intention. And so that's why I think some of the negative, harmful effects start to come in, because we're working with this powerful, sacred teacher. And we're not even clear on our intention when we're smoking and we're working with it. So that intention, the grandfather tobacco, it kind of amplifies that. And so as we, stop using tobacco and start respecting tobacco, even if you're still smoking, it changes that relationship tremendously, so that you can now go, oh, like this is an exchange. I'm working with a master plant teacher. Every time you smoke a cigarette, if you think about that, I'm working with a master plant teacher, that makes you a whole lot more conscious about what you're doing, why you're doing it, and what you're asking for than, how we just socially, smoke, or how we often use it. And we just have to understand that our intention is so important. So becoming more conscious, having tools and resources to just look at that relationship is really powerful in the trajectory of how much kind of negative, negativity are we creating in that relationship when we're not conscious or aware of what we're doing.
So what we do is we help people come to a place of, after dropping the shame, dropping the self-blame, self-loathing that's often associated with unhealthy bonding patterns and what's often referred to as addiction, is that then allows your inside intelligence, your body's intelligence, to start awakening to doing exactly what Cynthia is saying, is uncovering, why in this moment do I want to smoke? Why do I reach for a cigarette after this time? When I'm in stress, why do I smoke? And you start to unearth that in a really compassionate way for yourself. And then that allows you to find, healthier, sometimes even more fine-tuned surrogates to help you move through that need. Now, some people will go through the program and never touch tobacco again, and that's great. Some people will get through the program and perhaps it will illuminate a deep, ancient understanding of what this plant is all about, and perhaps the plant ends up on their altar at home, or ends up in a medicine bag, or ends up as something that is brought out to pray with, to commune with in a more traditional and ritual fashion. We don't place any hard and fast rules or directions on outcome. What we really want to help people do is awaken to what is the nature of their relations, and to get into right relations with themselves and the world around. And if you look at modern research on addiction, it really does come down to connection and relationships.
So we've been talking to Jeffrey Schmitt and Cynthia Bergh about their program, the Tobacco Freedom program, that you can find out about on tobaccofreedom.net. And we were just talking about helping people find healthy surrogates to nicotine, so that they either never touch it or have more sacred relationship to tobacco. So in the next segment, let's talk about the specific techniques that you're using with the people who are going to go through this program. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
It means so much to me that you're listening to the show, and would love your support in any way by giving me comments below, or to subscribe to the show, or share the show with friends. Thank you again for your support. Love and blessings.